Well, here with Glenda Thompson, of course, class of 72, but I'm sure your classmates are wondering, the first question should be to you is, would your classmates approve of me from I Am Terrell interviewing a Wildcat? But you don't have to answer that, because I know they would. I mean,
They would.
we got along.
They would.
Yeah, we got along.
Yeah.
But I want to go back to 1972, senior year. What was your vision? What was your idea of what you wanted to be or become your senior year? Do you remember?
I had no idea. My mom wanted me to be a nurse. That definitely was nothing I had an interest in. I thought that I wanted to be a political science major. And that's basically because the climate at the time was very political. You had women's rights, gay rights, black rights, equal rights. You had political scandal, kind of like today.
Watergate. Yeah, we're back.
Yeah. So initially, I thought I would be a political strategist or something, or a lobbyist. I didn't know what those really meant, but they just kind of sounded good. And I did enter TCU with an initial focus on political science, but quickly changed.
Quickly changed.
Yeah.
Well, now you're an entrepreneur. You're head of your own company, marketing and PR firm. Where did that come about? Do you know how that happened?
Well, I was influenced in high school to be doing exactly what I'm doing now. That influence came from a couple of phenomenal people. Miss Joan Vincent, who was my English teacher, Mr. Charles Scott, who was my band teacher, and Mr. Barnhill. I think his name was James Barnhill, and he was the journalism teacher. So you had English lit, you had journalism, and you also had kind of the arts. And so that's a culmination of what I kind of became. And I do what I do now because of those influences.
So I was going to ask, who were some of those people who influenced you in high school, and you just named them.
Yeah.
Wow.
There were a lot of influencers, but those really stuck out, and those really kind of honed me into what it was that I thought I wanted to be.
So you, as a Dunbar graduate, can say that Dunbar High School prepared you for who you are today?
Yeah.
I mean, and some people wonder, those all-black high schools back in the 60s and 70s,
Exactly.
could they prepare you for the future which you're now living?
It's so strange because not only did that experience prepare me for the future, for the distant future, but it prepared me for the immediate future, which was to attend TCU. So you have to understand, we were a tightly knit community of African American students, and my freshman year at TCU, I think I was the only one in my particular class,
Yeah.
in the fine arts department or in poli-sci. So that goes back to the whole point of, the characteristics of a wildcat.
You mentioned characteristics of Wildcat?
Yeah.
What does it mean to be a Dunbar Wildcat?
Well, let me give you a textbook explanation, definition of what a wildcat is. Okay, a wildcat is attractive, solitary, creative, and curious. The wildcat never takes the conventional route and prefers to explore life from off the beaten track, staying heavily on its instincts and powers of observation to guide it through the jungle.
Wow.
That's a wildcat.
That's a Wildcat, and the Dunbar Wildcats fit that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, and I noticed we were talking about the people who influence you, but I see that you have something else here. memorabilia
I
that you kept?
I do. For such an occasion as this, I had a graduation memories journal book, and a lot of people signed my yearbook, but this was in addition. And I remembered I asked Mr. Charles Scott, the band director, to write something in this. I think he wrote on the first cover page. And I read it recently, and I was just kind of touched and very shocked. And I don't even remember ever reading it.
And that's not like 2 or 3 words. That's a
No.
whole.
It's a paragraph.
Yes.
But and I won't read it all, but he does say, "You have proven to be all lady and a wonderful person." Let's see. He talked about your activities in band have been appreciated, and your concern for the band as a unit has been wonderful. Here's hoping the rest of your experiences will be happy ones. You're all right, people. Charles Scott.
But see, that's the kind of inspiration we got from teachers in those days that I'm afraid too many students don't get from teachers these days.
I agree. There's no doubt that we got exemplary. We had exemplary teachers at Dunbar. We also had a new group of teachers because keep in mind segregation ended, and it was 72. And so we had a whole new faculty that was a mixed faculty.
Right, they started integrating teachers as well as students.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, we probably were at a really good time where we still had some of the older teachers that really took a genuine interest, and then we had some newer teachers that were trying to understand us, learn us. The cultural differences. Were, we quickly overcame those. And for a period of time, during 1972, from September till June, it was as though we really lived peacefully and coexisted peacefully in an interracial grouping.
Right. Well, what was the social climate like in 1972 at Dunbar?
I think I touched on this earlier. You had, we were on the heels of the flower power. Black power was really in step. There were a lot of political issues going on, the Vietnam War. And there were things outside of our orbit that perhaps we weren't affected by directly, but we had brothers, we had cousins, we had people that we knew that actually, went to Vietnam. Some didn't come back, a lot did come back, but it was really kind of a period of discovery and claiming your uniqueness, and that fitted right into our theme for that year, which was the Proud People.
The Proud People.
The Proud People.
Well, as a proud person, as one who's been very successful graduate of Dunbar, what would be your closing message to commemorate the people of the class of 72 during this 50th anniversary?
Well, if I had one last message to convey to the class, I would just like to say, remember, we were the proud people then and now. It's been my great pleasure, my esteemed pleasure to address you this evening. Thank you. It's a great joy to be a part of the class of 72. I look forward to celebrating the next reunion, and right now we'd just like to celebrate this evening, 50th reunion, and celebrate the time we have left, growing closer as a stronger unit, forever friends.
Well said.